Your Excellencies, honorable members, distinguished guests, we will now invite our two guests of honor, the Presidents of the Republic of Burkina Faso and the President of the Republic of Malawi, together with our special guest, the First Lady of the Republic of Malawi. May we please rise. We'll now have the African Union anthem.
Je prie les excellences de bien vouloir prendre leur place.
I kindly invite you to join your seats. The session is resumed. Dear colleagues, I'd like to quote Jean-Baptiste, who said that he who comes after me is stronger than me. He would understand my emotion to receive here the distinguished, the august children of Africa, of our continent, who have proven their value in all the fields of life, including at the head of their states. Your Excellency, President of Burkina Faso, Christian Kabore, Your Excellency, Professor Arthur Mutharika, President of the Republic of Malawi, behind every great man is a great woman. There is a great woman. His Excellency Mutharika is accompanied by Her Excellency Madame Gertrude Mutharika, the First Lady of Malawi. On behalf of the Pan-African Parliament, I'd like to wish you a warm welcome and wish you a pleasant stay in South Africa. The present visit of our two heads of states, member of the African Union, will heighten the importance of our parliament. I will not go into the details of the subject and topics that will be discussed later by other eminent personalities, but let me just say that the presence of these two children of Africa, these two Pan-Africanist children of Africa, we expect of them an impulse, a new impulse, and a new support in solving the problems that we are experiencing. This being said, I would like to invite the personal representative of the South African government, the Vice Minister of Cooperation and International Relations, to deliver his welcoming remarks. You have the floor, sir.
Your Excellency, President of the Pan-African Parliament, the Honorable Roger Nkodo Down, Your Excellency, Roch Marc Christian Kabore, the Honorable President of the Republic of Burkina Faso, His Excellency, Professor Arthur Mutharika, President of the Republic of Malawi, Speakers of the Nationalist Parliaments, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners, Members of the Diplomatic Corps, Honorable Members of the Pan-African Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am humbled to be afforded this opportunity to welcome you to our country. Permit me to extend our warmest greetings to all of you on behalf of the South African government and the people of the Republic of South Africa. Allow me to also congratulate the new chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Moussa Faki Mahamat, following his election at the summit in January 2017. His leadership will enable us to build on the recorded successes and continue to pursue our shared vision and trajectory as encapsulated in the African Union's Agenda 2063. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate the new members of the Pan-African Parliament who were sworn in today and wish them well as they begin their tenure. Their fresh ideas and skills will complement the experience and institutional memory of the honorable members who have been in the service of our people for a while. Honorable President, allow me also to extend my congratulations to you for the leadership you have demonstrated as President of the Pan-African Parliament. Mr. President, distinguished guests, we remain committed to the strengthening of our continental bodies and mechanisms, and therefore wish to assure you of our continued support to the Pan-African Parliament. Our leadership and government remain available for engagements with yourselves on issues you may wish to raise with us at all times. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that your stay in South Africa is beneficial to the continent's citizens, and as such, we will continue to create an enabling and conducive environment for this purpose. As you are aware, Africa's developmental agenda can only be achieved within a peaceful, stable, and favorable condition. It is therefore heartening that you have decided to utilize the occasion of this fourth ordinary session to debate issues of peace and security in Africa. We trust that your input will further strengthen the continent's peace and security mechanisms and propel us towards realizing Agenda 2063's vision of silencing the guns by the year 2020. Your Excellencies, we are conscious that this ever-changing international environment requires us to adapt our strategies in pursuit of shared prosperity. Critical to this are our endeavors to transform the African Union in order to improve the implementation of our decisions. We therefore support the ongoing work being undertaken by His Excellency President Kagame and his team to find the best methods to transform the African Union to meet our current challenges. It is pleasing that during this session, you will debate and reflect on this important transformative process. In essence, we live in an era of digital revolution, and Africa cannot afford to remain behind. This fourth industrial revolution shall be properly managed to ensure that we address persistent inequalities and poverty. Our African youth are better placed to benefit from this revolution. In this regard, the role of youth in Africa's development must and will receive a special focus during the upcoming AU 2017 Mid-Year Summit, which will be held under the theme, Harnessing the Demographic Dividend Through Investment in Youth. Our Honorable President, ladies and gentlemen, our youth and society at large shall actively participate in our efforts to build a peaceful and prosperous continent. The Pan-African Parliament, therefore, is an important organ that enables us to ensure active citizenry and promote participatory democracy. Active citizenry will not only assist us to realize our Agenda 2063 vision and trajectory, but will go a long way in enabling us to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I am aware that a report of the brainstorming session on the Sustainable Development Goals, role of parliaments, will be presented in this session. I therefore must commend you for the sterling work in this review and believe that you will continue to robustly engage the substance of this report. Mr. President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by congratulating you on successfully participating in the AU election observer missions, as well as the fact-finding missions in the past year and in early 2017. I cannot overemphasize the importance of the Pan-African Parliament's oversight role in pursuit of peace and security, the promotion of democracy and good governance, as well as promoting economic growth on our continent. And therefore, I wish you a successful fourth session and fruitful deliberations. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Honorable Minister. As I said, you're receiving today special guests who are famous and well-known. I'd like very humbly invite His Excellency Professor Arthur Mutharika to deliver his wise advice to the Pan-African Parliament and to the entire Africa. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Malawi, you're kindly invited to take the floor.
Your Excellency, Rockmark Christian Kabore, President of the Republic of Burkina Faso, Your Excellency, Dr. Gertrude Mutharika, First Lady of the Republic of Malawi, Your Excellency, Dr. Roger Nkondo Dang, President of the Pan-African Parliament, distinguished honorable members of the Pan-African Parliament, His Excellency Dr. Ikana Chikombiro, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of the African Union to the United States, Ms. Marja Kotkovi, President of the National Assembly of Serbia, His Excellency Pedro Rogis, President of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Mediterranean, honorable members of the Pan-African Parliament, ladies and gentlemen. It is with immense pleasure that I stand to address this African August House. And I'm extremely thankful for being invited to be with you today. In a special way, I'm also delighted to share this special moment with my brother, His Excellency Rockmark Kabore from Burkina Faso. Let me share that Malawi, I have been promoting the 3 pillars for development. These are patriotism, integrity, and hard work. Every time I think about integrity and honesty, I was remembered that Burkina Faso literally means land of honest people. It reminds us, my brother, of one of the critical values of the African needs, the need for honesty and integrity. Mr. President, this August gathering occupied an important place in the destiny of Africa. We met as African parliamentarians. We represent parliaments that also represent African people from every part of this continent. This parliament, therefore, is founded on the principles of Pan-Africanism. Since the early 1960s, be it in the diaspora or here at home in Africa, African people have always aspired to pursue a common goal. In those days, Black Americans and Africans here on the continent understood themselves as sons and daughters of one Africa, and also a common goal to pursue. It was on the same spirit of Pan-Africanism that organized African unity was founded. This is where the idea of African unity came from. We believe in standing together in a united front. We believe that united we are rock, divided we are sand. Our national boundaries should never be an excuse for division. I've used the word excuse because excuses are not reasons anyway. From the 1890 Hugand Treaty to 1964 resolution on border disputes by African states in Cairo, there has never been a reason for disrespecting the territorial integrity and sovereignty of African nations. Africa did not come to be here by mistake. It is then wise to remember that we coexist peacefully because our fathers who founded these countries we gather today of our unity in spite of our boundaries. In 1964, we were so plagued that we respect the borders we found set by colonialism. In the 1717, with the first honor session of the OU, all member states pledged, and I quote, to respect the borders existing in the achievement of national independence, end of quote. The most outstanding of those forefathers was Julius Nyerere, who sponsored the revolution and led in Tanzania to play an active role in respecting the territorial integrity that we inherited. Paradoxically, our unity lies in the borders that divide us. On 6 March 1997 in Accra, the founding president of Tanzania, Nyerere himself, said we must continue to respect the boundaries we found. And I quote, without unity, there is no future for Africa. End of quote. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to emphasize the need for us in this parliament to see ourselves as one people with one goal. It is impossible for this parliament to achieve anything if we cannot share a common goal. Let us be guided by the wisdom of our people, who in the proverb they say, let's quote, he who does not know where he is going will never know whether he has arrived, end of quote. However, let me quote again, he who does not know where he's coming from cannot know where he's going, end of quote. As Africans, we can best share a sense of a common destiny when we cultivate a shared critical consciousness of our history. I'm therefore delighted to note that this parliament considered African history as an important subject to be discussed. I'm looking forward to the time when the African Union can consider a common African history, and that every African child could learn, regardless where they are, where they come from. We need to share a common narrative that binds our solidarity. The point I'm drawing is simple. We speak without integration. We think about integration at various levels across the continent and in our regional blocks. But there can never be meaningful integration in Africa without a shared critical consciousness of our people. We always talk about social, political, and economic conservation and integration. But the first point of integration needs to be the way we think and define ourselves. A child born in one nation must grow up realizing that he or she shares with a child born in another country. It will be easier for those children to work together, fight together, and conquer together one day. As we gather here, we would have many wars to fight and win on many social, political, and economic fronts. We need peace and security to prevail across Africa. In fact, in the complex world we live today, you don't need to go to war in order to be at war. Think about cybersecurity. Development technology have brought cybercrime by which any country can be under attack at any time. In addition, African countries have fast become crime routes and corridors of terrorism. In our quest for peace and security, we must also stop crime and terrorism being exported from one country to another through our countries. We must remember to stand together and remember, when you protect your neighbor, you protect yourself. We need a shared atmosphere of peace and security for African economic growth and prosperity. We have the war on poverty to fight. Not only do we need African economies to grow, but we also need the participation of the people in that economic growth. In our economic growth, it is to be meaningful, but with the participation of women and the youth. Women constitute almost half of the African population. Women empowerment is a vehicle for economic growth. In fact, there is no vehicle that can move when half of its wheels are not moving. Therefore, we have no choice but to promote women empowerment. And women empowerment must begin with investing in the girl child of Africa. The situation of the African girl child also leads to yet another challenge that we face, the African youth situation. Africa is the youngest continent because the majority of our people are the youth. About 60% of African population are the youth under the age of 35. Unfortunately, the population of the youth bracket is still growing, and Africa must be braced for more alarming figures. An African head of state, we have agreed to make 2017 the year of the youth. As a Pan-African Parliament, you are mandated to advocate the policies and objectives of the African Union. And we say youth empowerment is one objective that you must address in this Parliament. At the moment, the continent is unable to provide jobs for most of the youth. This is creating a growing sense of alienation and frustration, which is building up negative energy in our youth. The youth are energetic people. They want something meaningful to do with their lives, but there isn't much around. They are moving fast forward on a continent that is moving slowly. Unless we are brilliant to move fast, the African youth will slip out of our fingers. Youth frustration breeds political radicalization. Youth poverty and joblessness can be the next cause of civil strife and political instability in Africa. Disenchantment and this subsequent radicalization can make our youth vulnerable to outside forces of violence, extremism, and destruction. This is something that you and I can never and must never and should never allow. If there is a common sense on which Africa must unite, then it is the plight of the African youth. If there is a common mission for our generation to pursue, then it is the destiny of the African youth. If there is a common front on which Africa must fight, we must fight the future of the African youth. I wish you productive deliberations on the various issues that you are going to be concerned with today. We'll wait to see another action from our resolutions. Remember, resolutions are like children crying in the church. They must be carried out promptly. Thank you. May God bless Mother Africa.
Merci beaucoup, Excellence.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Malawi. No comments at this stage. We are all ears, and I would like to invite at this stage His Excellency Mr. Roch-Marc Christian Kaboré, President of Burkina Faso. I would like to ask you to pay full attention to listen to his address. Your Excellency, President, I invite you to take the floor.
Excellence, Professeur.
Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, President of the Republic of Malawi, Her Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, President of the Parliament, President of the Pan-African Parliament, distinguished guests, honorable members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen. The solemn opening ceremony of the ordinary session of the Pan-African Parliament avails me with a pleasant opportunity to pay a special tribute to the honorable members of this prestigious institution, which makes us so proud. I extend my warmest greetings to the highest South African authorities, in particular to President Jacob Zuma, for their hospitality and all the attention afforded to us since our arrival in this beautiful country, embodiment of the Rainbow Nation. I also extend my appreciation to the President of the Pan-African Parliament and the members of Parliament for having kindly invited me to take the floor as a guest of honor at this session. Since its inception on 2 March 2001, the Pan-African Parliament has continued to face a myriad of challenges, which are so many reasons justifying its role to promote good governance, the rule of law, democracy, prosperity, and unity on the African continent. Undoubtedly, its transformation, or may I say its evolution towards a legislative organ elected through direct universal suffrage, remains a major challenge to take up. In fact, 13 long years after the inaugural opening session held from 18 to 20 March 2004, we can no longer be satisfied of the hesitant march of such an important tool for governance of the African Union and the member states that make up the Pan-African Parliament. During these times of crises and democratic deficits here and there, the goals that led to the creation of this parliament are still resounding loud and clear to make this tool viable, upholding the legitimate aspirations of the people of Africa. President, honorable members of Parliament, these noble, relevant, and topical goals speak for themselves. They fully justify the efforts of the eminent people who have fought and continue to fight so that the Pan-African Parliament becomes a true institution and proudly play its part in the building of the African Union and the achievement of the objectives of its founders. It is clear that the transition of the Parliament towards a sovereign legislative organ elected through direct universal suffrage, exercising its full functions, has become very urgent. 13 years after holding of its inaugural session, the hesitant march of the Pan-African Parliament towards its autonomy is posing a problem of credibility. That is why it is necessary to call for the ratification of the additional protocol adopted by the heads of state met in Malabo on 27 June 2014. To date, in fact, less than 15 countries have ratified it. That shows the scale of the work that remains to be done. But we dare to hope, as I have no doubt that, like Burkina Faso, many other countries would follow the example and ratify the protocol. President, distinguished invited guests, members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, following the words of the President of the Pan-African Parliament, let me commit to serve as an ambassador among my counterparts to accompany your efforts to our continental legislative institution. The people of Africa expect from your institution to be fully engaged in the entrenchment of good governance, democracy, peace and security in Africa through a tireless fight against terrorism, cross-border crime, organized crime, and religious fundamentalism. Unity and prosperity of Africa come at this cost. President, honorable members of Parliament, your decision to dedicate the work of this session to the theme entitled Harnessing the Youth Dividend by Investing in the Youth is a wise choice, because this challenge is also the theme of the African Union for the year 2017. In fact, the demographic dividend must be seen as a driver of growth for our countries by decreasing simultaneously birth rate and child mortality rate, leading to changes in the age distribution of the population. The implementation of such a vision should enable our states to free the necessary funds for the sufficient and sustainable financing of areas such as education, focusing on vocational training and education of girls, job creation, health, and the prevention of child marriages, and so forth. I have no doubt that the outcomes of your deliberations will enable to enrich this reflection underway. President, honorable members of parliament, distinguished guests, I am convinced that Africa will be what the Africans want it to be. It behooves opinion leaders and the African elite to make that their daily struggle. In closing, let me reiterate my gratitude to the President, the Bureau, and the members of Parliament for the kind invitation and hospitality extended to me. I wish you an excellent session while reassuring you of my readiness to work to enable the Pan-African Parliament to shine ever brighter. I thank you.
Je vous invite à vous lever.
I invite you to stand and applaud the two heads of state.
Excellence, Monsieur le Président.
Excellency, President of the Republic of Malawi, President Peter Arthur Mutharika, Excellency, President of the Republic of Faso, once again, I would like to thank you and beg for your indulgence for all the insufficiencies you might have noted during your stay. But the Parliament and myself are very pleased for the kind words and the struggles that you wage together with us. Finally, I would like to invite you to grant us 5 more minutes for the ceremony that will take place later. This ceremony is but a sign of recognition from us, which yesterday just a member of the Parliament has become the First Lady of Malawi. When she left the Pan-African Parliament, she committed to implement the ideals of Pan-Africanism by committing in social work in her country, Malawi. And the Almighty knows that this is a daunting task. She has never left the Parliament. Maybe she was absent for the reasons that I've just met, but she is still with us, and she's still actively working so that the Pan-African Parliament, as His Excellency said, His Excellency Rockmark Christian Cabore said, so that the Pan-African Parliament becomes a fully legislative parliament to enable the people of Africa to speak with a loud voice. So with respect, I would like to call upon the First Lady to come to the rostrum to receive her award as Ambassador of Goodwill, a title awarded in 2015. Your Excellency, First Lady, please come forward.
Excellente Madame la Première Dame.
Your Excellency, Madam First Lady, on behalf of the Pan-African Parliament, I bestow the sash of Goodwill Ambassador so that you can continue to help the Pan-African Parliament to shine.
In the name of the Pan-African Parliament, we offer you this badge as part of the Pan-African Parliament.
Congratulations. You are always welcome.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, President of the Republic of Malawi, His Excellency, Rochmark Christian Kabore, President of the Republic of Burkina Faso, Your Excellency, Honorable Roger Mkodo Dan, President of Pan-African Parliament, and all members of Pan-African Parliament present here, all ambassadors present here, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, today feels like homecoming. I cannot hold my excitement and joy at this moment as I rejoin an institution that I regard so highly and hold in high esteem. Mr. President, this is where I belong. This day brings back memories of my days as a member of parliament. It rekindles the hope for my deep-seated desire to contribute towards parliamentary democracy on our beautiful continent, Africa. Mr. President, it is my singular pleasure and honor to accept this privilege to serve in this august house as its goodwill ambassador. Let me also say that the honor bestowed upon me today is the honor for all women in Africa. I'm particularly pleased, Mr. President, to associate myself with the vision of this august house of ensuring the full participation of the African people in the socio-economic development and integration of the continent. I'm fully aware that the path to realizing this vision and dream is not going to be easy. We will have to work extra hard together to make tangible progress on this noble journey. We must close ranks in our fight to promote human rights, democracy, good governance, and accountability on the continent. It is pleasing to note, Mr. President, that the AU Commission continues to stand ready to support our efforts in this process. Mr. President, we diligently also need to ensure and promote peace, security, and stability in Africa because these are preconditions to any form of prosperity that we can realize as Africans. I further wish to urge that we work tirelessly in order to promote solidarity and a sense of common destiny among the people of Africa. In so doing, we will become unstoppable in our pursuit for our collective destiny. Mr. President, allow me to highlight the work that African First Ladies are doing in fighting HIV and AIDS, cancer, and also promoting better health for our people on the continent. The Organization of African First Ladies Against HIV/AIDS has also engaged higher gear to mobilize different stakeholders to strengthen its focus on addressing maternal and child health. As First Ladies, we have also resolved to contribute towards harnessing the demographic dividend as an effective way of promoting the youth, including promoting access to youth-friendly sexual and reproductive health services. Allow me, therefore, Mr. President, humbly to call upon the honorable members of this House to support the noble cause being championed by the Organization of African First Ladies. Mr. President, on a personal note, I take this opportunity to thank you most sincerely for bestowing on me this honor to serve as an ambassador, goodwill ambassador for this august house. I'm very honored to continue serving the people of Africa through the Pan-African Parliament. Mr. President, in Malawi, I'm championing a number of initiatives which require the support from Pan-African Parliament. These include the campaign to promote and protect the rights of persons with albinism who of late have been hunted and some have lost their lives. I'm also championing tourism initiatives where we are putting women at the center of the tourism industry in Malawi. Through the Malawi Parliament Population and Development Caucus, we are also tackling rapid population growth. We have also embarked on an environment and sanitation campaign under the Beautify Malawi Trust, or BEAM in short. Through BEAM, we are also championing girl-child education. We believe that educating girls will create economically empowered women who in turn bear less children and be able to take care of the environment. Mr. President, I intend to come up with a plan of activities and programs in my capacity as Goodwill Ambassador of the Pan-African Parliament, in line with the mandate and activities of PAP. Some of the activities will include advocacy for ratification of the PAP protocol, promotion of girl-child education and reduction of literacy rates among women in Africa, and environmental management, just to mention a few. In closing, Mr. President, I pledge to work hard and champion our collective developmental destiny through this position. I really feel humbled, Mr. President, but also challenged to undertake this responsibility in our service for our mother, Africa. Long live Africa, long live Pan-African Parliament. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Honorable Excellency, First Lady of the Republic of Malawi. Thank you, Ambassador of Goodwill, for the continuous support to the Pan-African Parliament. The last item of this opening ceremony will be tradition that when a brother pays you a visit, you should give him at least a small token. In Cameroon, we usually give a chicken as a sign of friendship and consideration. But here, I would like to invite their excellencies not to take into account the quality of the gift, but to accept the efforts that we have made to give you this small token. And I invite protocol to come forward with a gift so that I can hand them over to their excellencies, the heads of state.
Professeur Victor Bouchareka, président du Malawi. Voilà l'Afrique dont nous rêvons nous tous. L'Afrique sans frontières, l'Afrique sans barrières linguistiques, mais l'Afrique pour les Africains. Et cette corde permet d'appeler, comme ça se fait dans nos sociétés traditionnelles, d'appeler tous les Africains à s'unir pour rendre l'Afrique meilleure. Je vous prie de bien vouloir accepter ce cadeau au nom du Parlement. Excellence.
Excellency Marc Christian Kabore, Africa before the Berlin conference. That is the hope that you embody here. We want an Africa that's united, an Africa where the sons and daughters of Africa can move freely and attend to their tasks. An Africa where the problems of one country is the problem of another country, without division, without language barriers. We give you this map of Africa so that you can take it wherever you go.
Excellence,
Excellencies, heads of state, Excellency First Lady, Excellencies, ambassadors, ministers, all our special guests, dear colleagues, we have arrived at the end of our session, but before we adjourn, I would like to invite the clerk to make some announcements.
Your Excellencies, honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have three very brief announcements. The first announcement is that when this session is adjourned, there will be a photo session. Honorable members and all invited guests are invited to the photo session. It will take place to the right of the exit from these chambers. My second announcement is that we are hosting a luncheon in honor of our two guests of honor. The luncheon will take place within the premises at the Gallagher Convention Center. And all honorable members, all the guests, all the staff of the Pan-African Parliament, all the technical support that we have graced this occasion are invited to the luncheon. In other words, everyone present here is invited to the luncheon when the session adjourns, after the photo session. My last announcement is to designate the venues for the regional caucus meetings that are scheduled to take place this afternoon. The venues will be as follows. The Southern African Caucus meeting will take place in room 1. The East African Caucus meeting will take place in room 2. The West African Caucus meeting will take place in room 3. The Central African Caucus meeting will take place in room 4. And last, but certainly not least, the North African Caucus meeting will take place in room 5. Thank you, Your Excellency.
merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Secrétaire.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clark. All is well that ends well. And once again, I would like to invite honorable members and remind them they are organizing this lunch. They must all be present at the lunch with the heads of state. Please move right after the photo session, move to Gallagher Convention Center and be seated so that the heads of state can join us. This being said, I would now adjourn the work of our opening session, and we will resume tomorrow at 9 a.m. The meeting is adjourned.